Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions present exclusive live coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference basketball. Tonight, live from Carmichael Auditorium in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, it's the Bruins of UCLA versus the Tar Heels of North Carolina.
Carmichael Auditorium in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where the Tar Heels have won 164 and lost only 20. Sold out as always for the start of the 1985 basketball campaign. Hello everybody, Mike Patrick and Billy Cunningham, and it's great to have you with us for the opening telecast of the 1985-86 season. Billy, since the John Wooden era, UCLA has had some good basketball teams, but Walt Hazzard wants to take them back to greatness.
They've had outstanding basketball during that stretch of time. Last year, we saw Walt Hazzard take that job on, take a team from the bottom, started out terrible, end up winning an NIT, and not allowing his team to lose confidence or faith that they could achieve something. I think that the people out in LA and the alumni and all the people connected with UCLA just have to have a little patience. Forget the John Wooden era. We know how great it was. Now we're in the Walt Hazzard era.
Tonight's game plan is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Billy Cunningham, what do you think the keys are for UCLA tonight?
Well, UCLA must force North Carolina to win from the outside. They can't allow them to just power the ball inside. They're going to have to force them to dish it out to the perimeter for the jump shot. They've got to create some turnovers and get some easy baskets, and they'll probably try to do that with full court pressure or very tight man-to-man. They must get off to a quick start, and that's where they're going to look to their two veterans, Reggie Miller and Montel Hatcher. These players have the ability to do that as well.
How about for Carolina?
Well, Carolina, we can look at the three things we have up here. Must play to their big men. We know that. Getting the ball inside and getting UCLA in foul trouble and taking advantage of their depth. More importantly, North Carolina tonight here has just got to come out and play their basketball game because they do have that experience factor and they are playing at home.
All right, those are the keys for UCLA and North Carolina, and this has been the game plan brought to you by Mazda. Now for the starting lineups, let's go to public address announcer Dick Kearney.
Host the Bruins of UCLA. Now here are the starters for tonight's game. For UCLA at forward, a 6'7" junior from Riverside, California, number 31, Reggie Miller. For North Carolina at forward, a 6'10" junior from Kohler, Wisconsin, number 24, Joe Wolf. At forward for the Bruins, a 6'7" sophomore from Riverside, California, number 42, Kelvin Butler. For the Tar Heels at forward, a 6'10" junior from Ashley, Pennsylvania, number 35, Dave Thompson. For UCLA at center, a 6'10" junior from Seal Beach, California, number 15, Jack Haley. For North Carolina at center, a 6'11.5" senior from Black Mountain, North Carolina, number 42, Brad Daugherty. At guard for the Bruins, a 6'1.5" junior from Venice, California, number 12, Montel Hatcher. At guard for the Tar Heels, a 6'3" senior from Jinx, Oklahoma, number 25, Steve Hale. For UCLA at guard, a 6'4" junior from Los Angeles, California, number 11, Corey Gaines. For North Carolina at guard, a 6'3" junior from Queens, New York, number 30, Kenny Smith. The head coach for UCLA in his second year, Walt Hazzard. And the head coach for North Carolina in his 25th year, Dean Smith.
We'll be back with the start of tonight's game from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, right after this. Walt Hazzard beginning his second year as the head coach at UCLA, 21-12 a year ago, a win in the NIT, and he wants to bring UCLA back to the top of college basketball. This man has been there for a long time, beginning his 25th year, 551 wins, 165 losses, and we are set to go with the opening tip. Carolina in white with the light blue trim, and UCLA with the traditional blue and gold. And it's Haley at 6'10" against Daugherty at 6'11 3/4, and Carolina controls. Kenny Smith guarded man-to-man by Corey Gaines. This is Hale. Daugherty. Carolina will look inside as they did all of last year. Popson maneuvering inside against Miller. Missed the shot. Rebound to Corey Gaines. UCLA will try to run. Left-handed shot up and in by Calvin Butler, and UCLA takes the 2-0 lead.
That's one thing what we saw is UCLA is going to need their guards to help them on the defensive boards because the big people are going to have their hands full all night against Carolina.
Butler is 6'7", 230, has the first 2 points of the ball game. And Kenny Smith, the jumper outside before the shot. And we have a pushing foul away from the ball. And it's going to be on Butler. Number 1 on Butler, first foul of the ball game. Billy, you said they had to try to keep the North Carolina big men out from under that bucket.
Well, that's what they're going to have to do, and right now we see that first foul, but that's not a big concern right now, I think, for Walt Hazzard. His big concern is the big kid, Haley, getting in foul trouble. He can't replace Butler.
Hale goes right at Haley, and he'll pick up the first personal foul as Steve Hale forced it to him.
It's interesting seeing Hale drive to the basket there after suffering that injury last year, going to the basket in the NCAAs, and it looks like that he's forgotten all about it, and he has confidence in himself to do that.
Haley is really the man on the spot. He has played only 3 years of varsity basketball. This is his third. He did not play in high school, played only 1 year of junior college ball. And Hale at the free throw line is a given. Shot 87.6 from the line last year. That's the ACC, the school record, 87.6. So how Haley plays is going to largely determine the outcome of this ball game.
Well, we're seeing some pressure right here by Carolina. There's the turnover.
Lost out of bounds by Corey Gaines, and credit the pressure defense of Carolina.
This is where Miller and Hatcher have to show the poise and just tell everybody, hey, don't worry about it. Let's just make sure we stay under control.
Hobson gives it up to Daugherty. Now Joe Wolf. Kenny Smith from long range. Rebound to Carolina's Wolf. Back out to Popson. They're so tough on the boards. Daugherty. Nice move to get around Haley, and he traveled to do it.
Took that extra step. Ball inside. Good quick hands by Kenny Smith.
Tied at 2 with 18:40 to go. First half of play. Opening game of the year for both ball clubs. This is Kenny Miller, a shooter with tremendous range. Good pass inside, a whistle, and a foul. As they took it inside to Kelvin Butler.
Get it inside to Butler right here. Now, Butler, what he should have done right here is get control and just go up strong right in that situation, but he was just a little intimidated, and he did pick up the foul from Popson.
1 on Popson, first team foul against North Carolina. This is Gaines trapped in the corner. Carolina loves to trap. Ball on the floor. Picked up inside. Butler back out to Gaines, and they'll set it up.
Good patience. That's what they have to have here.
Corey Gaines is the point man. Remember, in college basketball this year, the 45-second shot clock, and it is on all the time. Hatcher, an excellent shooter over Steve Hale, a terrific defender.
That's a tough shot because Hale had his hand right in his face, and you just got to give the credit to Hatcher, just the confidence. This team, UCLA, in practice, they truly work on their perimeter shooting, knowing that they're not going to overpower teams inside.
Daugherty over Haley, right in the middle.
Well, Haley just can't allow Daugherty to move him in so deep underneath the basket. He's just going to have to battle him a little tougher than that.
Daugherty outweighs him by 25, 30 pounds, much stronger inside. Tied at 4 with 17:35 to go. Reggie Miller trying to penetrate, and we have a grabbing foul, and they'll call this one on Joe Wolf, his first.
They'll run a lot of plays for Reggie, either for the perimeter shot, giving him the option to either take it to the hoop or hit that long jump shot. He's just, he reminds me so much of Jamal Wilkes, the way he carries himself on the court, but his shot just reminds me so much of George Gervin. It just seems to hang in the air, and when it does hit the rim, it just seems to lay there and fall in the basket.
Walt Hazzard says he has greater range than Jerry West or any of the other great players that he has seen or played with. And there's the jumper outside that will put UCLA back on top 6-4, and Montel Hatcher has 4.
Well, that's what we talked about at the top of the show, that these two veterans are going to have to come out here, really establish themselves early.
There's a great pass inside, and the bucket goes to Popson.
Well, that was a lack of communication at the defensive end of the court, because there was a back screen on the man there, and they didn't communicate.
Corey Gaines and Montel Hatcher are the guards that try a bounce pass inside. Here's the steal back by Miller. Took it away from Daugherty and drives and got the bucket. What a great play by Reggie Miller. UCLA goes back on top by 2. Quick hands from Miller, and I think Miller will be whistled for the foul inside. No, he won't. The foul will go on Popson, and that is number 2 on Dave Popson.
Well, that was a good call. Popson trying to flash across the lane, pushed Reggie off.
UCLA a little bit stronger than their size would indicate, but they are certainly not big. Miller at 6'7", and Butler at 6'7" are the forwards, and the slim Haley at 6'10", 220 is the center. This is Miller working for a shot. Haley has the ball knocked away by Smith, stolen by Daugherty. And Haley's inexperience showed there. He got the ball down around knee level.
If you're not going to shoot it, move the basketball. I'm sure Walt Hazzard would tell him to do that.
Hale low to Popson. His shot won't go. Haley with the rebound. Haley played 24 minutes against the Australian national team, a game that UCLA lost. He had 1 rebound in 24 minutes. That's Reggie again, and offensive foul, no basket.
You know, as you saw right here, Reggie taking it on the baseline. Carolina defensively forces you to that position. And there was Hale taking the charge in that situation.
And Hale is so great at taking those charges. 8-6, UCLA with 15:53 to go first half. Will return after this word from Budweiser.
Right now, I want you to take a look at this play with Miller driving to the basket for one reason. That's a play Carolina tries to force the people to the baseline and to the outside, whereas UCLA defensively will have their guards forcing back towards the middle, and if the ball is out on the wing, such as we saw with Reggie Miller, they'd be forcing the ball back to the middle. So we have two completely different philosophies defensively.
Steve Hale drew the charge on that play. He drew 36 a year ago. He is a master at it. And Warren Martin, number 54, has the ball in the lane and traveled on his first offensive possession. Martin is 6'11 and a half, a senior, 243 pounds, the only remaining player from that North Carolina championship team of '82. He was a freshman that year. This is Corey Gaines, double teamed, and the Carolina trapping offense gets it to Miller. Hatcher, who already has 2 field goals, make it 3. 6 points for Hatcher, and UCLA has hit all 5 of its shots from the floor.
Boy, they're showing just such great poise and patience when Carolina's coming out and trapping.
Holding the ball high over his head. Looking inside for Martin, now is Daugherty. Kenny Smith. This is a huge front line for Carolina when you put Warren Martin in there.
Bigger than any NBA front line, I know that much.
Yes, it is. We might be able to take him on, too, Billy. Hale drive. Nice left-handed shot by Steve Hale. His first bucket has 4 points, and it's 10-8 UCLA by a pair. Corey Gaines, the point guard. This is Miller. We have not seen the sensational freshman, Jerome Pooh Richardson, yet, but we will. Miller downtown and got it. Nice touch. 4 points for Miller.
That's just a beautiful shot. He just has such confidence in any spot on the court that he's just going to bury that shot.
Well, UCLA comes in here in front of another sellout crowd, playing a team that's ranked 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in all the polls, and not showing any nerves at all. The jumper by Wolf.
But that's a shot UCLA will live with. They're not too upset. Walt has it saying, hey, if Wolf has to go out and beat us from the perimeter, we're going to have to live with that.
Corey Gaines, and an offensive foul. And once again, it's Steve Hale.
Here he comes off that screen. Shuffle cut. Just had his head down. Didn't see the defensive man in that position.
2 charges for Hale, and Jeff Lebo, number 14, has come into the ballgame for the first time. Another highly recruited freshman that Dean Smith says is the most fundamentally sound player he has ever seen coming out of high school. Great tribute from Dean Smith. Ball knocked away on the bad pass, and this is Hatcher against Hale. Reverse layup, he got it, he fouled. What a shot by Hatcher.
Great play, and there's the situation. Now they've had 2 turnovers and been able to convert them to a possible 5 points.
And that's critical with their lack of height because they can't get the running game going.
That's right, great anticipation here. Reads the play, takes it to the open court, and this is what a great athlete he is here. Be able to bring it to the other side of the basket and do that. Just, what can you say but just wow.
First foul on Hale, 4th team foul against Carolina, and Hatcher will go to the line trying to complete the 3-point play. A 73% shooter a year ago from the free throw line. Short on this one, however, and Martin rebounds for Carolina. It's a 4-point UCLA lead, and they throw it away.
Well, that's been a problem for Carolina last year, was turnovers, and I'm sure Dean Smith was hoping that he wouldn't see this early in the season, and was hopeful that the team would mature and handle the ball a little bit better.
Another factor with this game, Billy, UCLA being so young, the longer that they stay in the lead, the more confidence they're going to gain. Hatcher off balance, tough shot. Ball comes out, Hale with a long rebound. It's a 1, now make it a 2 on 5 fast break, and Hale will slow it up. Looking inside for Martin. Carolina so patient on offense. Warren Martin.
Well, you can't blame Haley right there. He needs that help, and he's expecting those guards and the other people to really collapse when the ball gets inside.
First 2 points for Warren Martin, UCLA by 2. Gaines, baseline, blocked by Daugherty. Now that's something Carolina would like to see more of. Daugherty blocking shots. Miller with Daugherty way out on him, and now Hatcher, another long-range jumper, won't go. Rebound Martin.
That's 2 bad shots in a row for him.
And here's the steal off the pass by Wolf. Miller coming back, his 2nd steal of the ball game. And UCLA has gone up by 4, the first 2 points for Gaines. Martin low again over Haley, won't go this time, crashes the boards for the rebound, and they'll call Haley for blocking out. That's a tough foul on Haley.
Inside, now he's taking it to the middle. No one reacting defensively to come down and give him that help. Getting the ball inside to Martin. He's going to look to make that move. And then he's back on the boards. Right there's the situation. As soon as that shot goes up, Haley has to have one thing on his mind, to make sure he keeps Martin off the offensive boards.
Wolf goes out of the ballgame. Curtis Hunter is in for North Carolina. Craig Jackson is into the ballgame for the first time at a forward spot for UCLA. He is number 52. 6'8", 204 from Denver, Colorado. Bad pass this time by Hunter.
That's Miller's 3rd steal.
Very quick hands. And this is Pooh Richardson.
You know, the best way to describe Miller is he just knows how to play the game of basketball.
Interestingly enough, they have Hatcher out of the ballgame, and Gaines will stay in. And here is Miller, and the foul will be called against Carolina. It's Curtis Hunter, his first. So he got through the double team.
Anytime you get down to the corner, you have to anticipate Carolina coming down and double teaming, and here they are. Now, when they do this, the only available pass for Reggie, or the Dean Smith would want him to have, is a court pass. I'll get it out one of these times.
It's 16-12, UCLA with 11:52 to go in the first half. We'll be back to Chapel Hill after this.
Now, right now, we see another turnover by Carolina with Reggie Miller picking up his 3rd. What it appears to me is just Carolina's concentration level isn't where it should be, because these are turnovers where they're not potentially leading to a basket, like on a fast breaking situation, just careless ball handling.
Carolina with 8 turnovers already. That's 1 a minute, and that won't get it done.
This might force, if it continues, Dean Smith to go to a smaller lineup, playing 3 guards with Steve Hale, Lebo, and Smith.
Well, he's only got 2 of his big men in there now. Curtis Hunter is playing a wing. And Carolina extending that defense. This is Lebo. He's guarding Pooh Richardson. The freshman out of Philadelphia forces his first shot of his varsity career, and it won't go. Ahead to Hunter, off his knee, out of bounds.
Yeah, that's a turnover you might be able to live with as a coach, because there's the potential of an easy 2 points.
It's 16-12. UCLA by 4. The young Bruins gaining some confidence. Corey Gaines, a double pump in the lane, won't go. Lebo with the rebound. UCLA has suddenly gone cold. Hunter inside to Warren Martin. Lebo with a jumper. Won't go. Foul Warren Martin. That's one on Martin. You have to remember, though, that North Carolina has so many fouls to give up front.
Right now, I think looking at this game so far, North Carolina has to feel very fortunate to be only down 4 points at this point. They haven't handled the ball well. They've rushed their shots. They haven't had the patience at the offensive end of the court. Last time down, Richardson just getting in the ball game. Being a freshman just forced things a little bit too much.
Steve Hale and Joe Wolf back into the ball game for Carolina. Nice pass inside. Wolf will get the foul, and the basket will not go for Kelvin Butler. But he does draw the personal on Joe Wolf. That's number 2 on Wolf. He and Popson both have a pair.
The reason that he was so successful on that play is Butler showed Wolf the basketball, forced him to commit himself defensively, and then was able to power it to the basket for the possible 3-point play, but at least he's getting to the foul line for 2 shots.
Walt Hazzard considers Kelvin Butler his most physical player and his best rebounder. Would like him to be a little bit more aggressive. I don't know what Walt Hazzard is checking on with Lenny Wirtz. By the way, the officials tonight are Wirtz, Tom Frame, and Dick Picaro.
That's probably going back to the days when Walt was playing professional basketball and Lenny Wirtz was in the league. He's probably complaining about a call that Lenny called against him.
Butler's first free throw, got the roll. 6'7" sophomore from Riverside, California, only offered average 1.8 points a game last year. Not much scoring returning. They lost 3 starters.
To be exact, except for eliminating Hatcher and Miller, the returning scoring was 13.1 points per game. So Walt Hazzard was coming into this game, I know, with a lot of question marks about his ball club that has to be ecstatic at this point.
As a coach, you'd have to get the shivers looking at that statistic. Daugherty, turnaround jumper, rolled it in. Brad Daugherty has 4, and Carolina's back within 4. This is Miller. Walt Hazzard says when he's in bounds, he's in range.
Well, I think you better pick him up when he comes out of the locker room to start the second half.
Lebo almost lost it, and Richardson will commit his first personal foul going after him. Richardson and Lebo, what a matchup. 2 of the most highly recruited guards in the country last year.
Both coming from Pennsylvania. Richardson coming from Philadelphia. I'm very familiar with him. He came from Franklin High School and was just considered one of the finest guards, as you mentioned, in the country. Lebo coming from Carlisle, PA. Two outstanding players that have played against each other in different All-Star games.
Jump hook by Wolf won't go, but Hale gets it back, feeds to Daugherty. Great play by Steve Hale. He never seems to get the credit he deserves, but he's always around the ball, always making the smart play.
Well, if he wasn't here right now, Carolina would be down 14 points.
And the crowd trying to get into it. Jackson with a great feed to Miller. Craig Jackson with a beautiful assist, and Miller has 8. UCLA back up by a half dozen. Wolf's jumper from long range won't go, and UCLA will push it up at every opportunity. Richardson to Gaines, and Gaines buries it, and it's 24-16. Wolf back the other way, and got it. Carolina can run 2 in spite of their size.
Well, I think they can turn the 45-second clock off. It won't be a need tonight.
Now, you may be right about that. 24-18, and it goes all the way to the end of the game. Richardson called Baby Magic after Magic Johnson by Walt Hazzard. Miller working on Hale, blocking on Hale. That'll be number 2 on Steve Hale, who was trying to draw his 3rd charge.
I think right here you see the respect Dean Smith has for Reggie Miller, putting Bruce Hale on him, and he still was moving at that point when the contact was made. But to make that adjustment, putting Bruce Hale in the back, guard forward position, playing Miller, that's quite a challenge, and I know he's done it quite a bit in the past.
They're in the bonus, and Miller, an 80.4% shooter, will go to the free throw line. He was the MVP in the National Invitation Tournament a year ago. Missed. Here comes Smith for Carolina. To Lebo. Got it. 1 out of 2 for Lebo. It's 24-20. Carolina scored 4 in a row to cut the lead in half.
Right now you see the flexibility of the Carolina team being able to go with 3 guards in the game at this point.
Miller. Holy cow, what a shot. He has 10.
I don't think I could kick it from that far.
It's 26-20. Well, they said he had great range, and that'll prove it. He's hit all 5 of his field goal attempts. Wolf, jump hook, way short.
Forced the shot. He was even behind the backboard when he attempted that shot.
Richardson moving on Lebo. Shot won't go. Daugherty rebound to Smith. Both teams going with their smaller lineups now. Kenny Smith. He's a great shooter. He just doesn't shoot that much. His first 2 points of the game.
Well, with the type of team Carolina has, they're not looking for him to go out there and score a lot of points. He's supposed to be the leader. Here's the trap again. As soon as that ball gets to the sideline.
Butler lost it. Smith to Lebo for the snowbird. And it's 26-24. Boy, the momentum is bounced back and forth. And Walt Hazzard has seen enough. With 7:55 to go in the first half, he wants a timeout to stop the momentum. It's UCLA leading North Carolina 26-24. Back at Carmichael after this.
Well, right here we see that double team, and UCLA should be used to this all right because they've done this every time the balls come down the sideline. And here's Smith looking up, and Carolina able to get the easy 2 points. The next thing that happens, though, is the great thing. Walt has it calling a timeout, even though he'd like to save them for the end of the game. But he knows he cannot allow Carolina to get that momentum going in this building.
Hazzard, a born and bred UCLA product. He led UCLA to its first championship under John Wooden in 1964, and then had a great career in the pros for 10 years. Field goal shooting in UCLA has really been hot in the first half. Carolina with 9 turnovers so far. UCLA has committed 7. And that's the same story on the rebounds. North Carolina 9-7 in that department. This is Jerome Pooh Richardson, the freshman. Miller.
Good patience.
Not missed a shot.
Good patience right there. He had a chance for the shot, but knew they needed the good shot.
Hatcher back in the ball game and buries it from long range. 28-24. Kenny Smith hustles back down court. Nobody picked him up, so he took the shot. And here come the Bruins on the run again. Richardson, nice bounce pass. Shot won't go. Offensive foul. And they'll call it on Craig Jackson, his first. Good defense again by Carolina.
Oh, that's a trademark of Carolina right here, drawing that charge and just sacrificing your body. There's Popson drawing that charge. But that still was a great pass by Richardson. Walt Hazzard was telling me yesterday that one thing that his team is trying to learn how to play with Richardson to anticipate the passes that he has the ability to make. He's hit a few guys in the nose.
Steve Bucknall has checked in for the first time. Another Dean Smith freshman, 6'5", 215 from London, England. Massachusetts play prep ball.
I bet you the coaches like to go over there and try and recruit.
That's right.
Have a nice trip to London.
And there will be a foul inside on Bucknall. He picks up his first going after the loose ball, crashing into Richardson. A lot of team fouls on Carolina so far, but they are so deep they can afford to give them. And Daugherty will come back in and give a breather to Dave Popson.
Joe Wolf back in for the Tar Heels.
Joe Wolf comes in, and Bucknall will come out in a hurry. 28-24, UCLA just hanging on to that lead, and Richardson will go to the free throw line. He's an excellent shooter from both the field and the free throw line in high school. And missed his first. Fight for the rebound, and the obvious foul will be on Craig Jackson.
Well, there's a freshman right there for you. He was nervous up on the foul line. Didn't have the concentration that he'll have as he goes along in his career on that foul shot, because thank goodness the door was closed. That ball might have gone out the door.
7 minutes, 11 seconds to go. We go to the other end with Daugherty. And all the Carolina players had an outstanding free throw shooting season a year ago. Daugherty 74.2. see his field goal percentage is 62.5. In his career, it's 60.41, second only to Bobby Jones all time. Lead is down to 3, and Daugherty has 7 points. And one of the UCLA players, that's Jackson, falls into the lane, got back out in this shot. And now they'll call it on. Really a smart play by Daugherty. With Jackson in the lane, he got a free. When the ball doesn't go, he gets it back.
And he realized that and just let it fly. He probably broke his concentration at the foul line, though, realizing that he did fall in the lane.
This could cut the lead to 2, and does. Jackson will inbound against full court pressure. Richardson against Lebo. 2 talented freshmen. Miller, Martin tried to get out there but couldn't. Shot missed, loose ball. Haley is back in there, but it's picked off by Joe Wolf. Carolina needs a basket to tie. Daugherty, 28 all.
Just good ball movement. We're able to get Daugherty the ball in deep.
Crowd wanted to travel as Miller goes baseline, and a foul called against North Carolina. Foul is on Lebo.
Looked like one official had the call the other way.
That's right. I think one official called it just a turnover out of bounds.
Yeah.
The other called the foul. Number 1 on Lebo, and Miller will go to the line.
Here's Carolina coming over gets on the baseline. You know they're going to double team. That's a tough call. Tough call right there.
Reggie Miller.
Well, it's the first game of the season for the officials, too.
That's right. Corey Gaines has checked into the ball game. And Richardson will sit down for a while. Miller's free throw won't go. And Carolina with a chance to take the lead. 6.5 minutes to go first half. Kenny Smith running the offense. Constant movement for North Carolina. Kenny Smith. And the Tar Heels take a 30-28 lead. Smith has 4.
They're starting to warm up. You know, Dean Smith told me that last year he felt this team played better basketball on the road and was hoping that they'd come in and just play with a little bit more confidence in their own building.
Miller working in the middle, double team, blocked by Warren Martin, but we've got a foul, and it will be on Warren Martin. A year ago, Martin had 81 blocks.
There's a fine penetration move. Martin comes over and gives that good help, but he got part of Reggie on the arm.
Miller will go to the free throw line. He is 0 for 2 there.
They just cannot afford to miss the foul shots. They've missed their last 2 one-on-one situations, and a great shooter like Reggie Miller should be able to knock these free throws in.
Has this, and he'll get another. 30-29. UCLA down by 1. It's only 3 out of 7 from the free throw line. And 2 of those, as Billy said, have been the front ends of 1-on-1, so that's 2 more they didn't get. 30-30. Been a very exciting ball game. Opener for both teams. Carolina working the screen down low. This is Hunter to Lebo. Daugherty low in the paint. Turnaround jumper. There's no way to stop him in there, especially when Craig Jackson at 6'8" is covering him. That's 12 for Daugherty.
That was good patience at the offensive end for Carolina. They had the patience and were able to get the ball inside.
Kenny Smith with a steal. Then he went up in the air. Couldn't find anybody to get it to, and it goes out of bounds out to UCLA.
Just great hustle by Kenny Smith.
Miller will be the trigger man. Gets it into Haley, who has not been a factor at all on offense and has done very little on defense. Here come the Heels up by 2. Smith almost lost it. Kenny Smith left alone from 17. Shot won't go. Hunter tip. Here comes UCLA. 3-on-2. Miller in the middle. And they get it off to Hatcher.
Oh, what a great tip.
Reggie Miller now with 14 points of the 32 UCLA has rung up in the first half. Tied again with 4:38 to go. Miller was trying to anticipate the pass and get the steal there. Kenny Smith held up wisely. Martin is in there pushing on Haley and wants the ball and has it. Got the basket. And Walt Hazard is up saying, hey, don't you count the three in there anymore? Warren Martin did spend some time in the lane. He's got 4 points.
Dean Smith has to be pleased right now the way they're executing their set offense, showing the patience, making that extra pass at the offensive end of the court to get the ball inside.
Corey Gaines at the point. Hatcher is in the backcourt with him, number 12. Out to Miller. Miller from downtown again. This one won't go. Tip keeps it alive. Hatcher follow. Great rebound inside, and Hatcher comes out with the ball. They'll set it up again. UCLA down by 2. Corey Gaines in traffic and travel. Tried to get it off to Haley. Haley, the biggest man on the court for UCLA at 6'10", 220, has not had a shot and has 1 rebound in this ball game. Timeout with 3:44 left. We'll return after this word from Bud Light.
The UNC women's basketball team.
Here we see the fast break. Reggie Miller doing the smart thing, getting the ball to a guard in this situation, because that's his job to get it to the big people, and there's a great tip in by Miller.
Hope you'll be with us at halftime. We'll have our Black & Decker ACC flashback. Take a look at, throughout the year, some great games. Our Budweiser scoreboard, and we'll have a chance to talk with the athletic director here at North Carolina, John Swafford.
Starting the game, I felt that Carolina would be the team coming in with just relaxed, ready to play basketball with a veteran team, but it was just the opposite. Carolina, for the first 10 minutes, looked like the team that was nervous, didn't handle the basketball very well, and now the UCLA team, the young ball club, just came out and has played with great poise.
It's credit to Walt Hazard, isn't it?
It sure is.
This is Lebo. Hobson back in, number 35. Ranzino Smith, number 33, in for the first time, as Dean Smith has a lot of weapons. And we've got a foul called against UCLA. That's Hatcher. That's his first. Montella Jr. from Venice, California.
Swings the basketball. There's Lebo. He's going to come off the screen and just pop out, looking for the shot. Good head and shoulders fake, and was able to draw the foul. Now, the defensive man in that situation must keep his feet and stay down in a defensive position and not go for that type of fake.
Lebo got the bounce for his 5th point.
Good friend of mine that has followed Carolina basketball for, well, I guess around 25 years, told me he felt that Lebo was the finest shooter that he's seen come to the Carolina campus.
Boy, now that's high praise, isn't it?
It sure is. It's going to take
even better than Billy Cunningham.
Oh, goodness. He hit his foul shot. That was better than I ever did.
36-32. North Carolina now up by 4, 3:19 and counting in the first half from Carmichael Auditorium. This game was supposed to be played in the new Student Activity Center, which seats more than 21,000, but it won't be ready until the middle of January. So Carmichael Auditorium, with its storied history, remains alive for at least another 6 weeks. Almost a loose ball. That's Kelvin Butler. Gets it outside to Corey Gaines, and now to Hatcher. Try a backdoor cut to Miller, and the steal by Daugherty.
Dean Smith now has put in a quicker lineup and really looking to force the tempo and put the defensive pressure on UCLA.
That was Kevin Madden in for the first time. Got off an air ball. Another loose one touched by Carolina. It'll be out to UCLA. Madden, number 22, a 6'5" freshman. And Dean Smith is using everybody early and often.
Well, Dean feels that Madden's going to be an outstanding player, but feels he needs a lot of work at the defensive end of the court, but that's expected of a freshman.
Corey Gaines wide open after the cross-court pass. Missed it, and the rebound to Popson.
Well, UCLA has gone cold with that perimeter shot, but they're going to have to live by it tonight.
Carolina now up by 6.
They need a good shot this time down the court. They have to have good patience, probably try to get the ball to Reggie Miller. Carolina's in that trap.
Critical period of time here, the last couple of minutes of the half. The follow shot inside will not go for Butler. And here come the heels again. Smith has it knocked out of his hands by Miller. Boy, he's got quick hands. Great defensive reaction.
That last time down the court, UCLA made that one pass against the zone and went up with the jump shot. They'll be able to get a jump shot, and they have plenty of time. They should move the basketball around the court a little better and get the good shot.
Curtis Hunter and Lebo come back into the ball game. Ranzino Smith goes out along with Kevin Madden. Daugherty at the 2-minute mark with Carolina up by 6. Lebo to Kenny Smith. Hobson wants the ball. They give it to him at the top of the key, and now off to Lebo. Hobson at jump hook. It won't go, and the foul will be on Popson underneath, trying to follow his miss. And that is 3 on David Popson, the junior from Kohler, Wisconsin.
The thing I want you to watch is the great position Butler gets after this shot is attempted. He's checking the man off the boards. He's got that good position between he and the basket, his man in the basket.
Butler, 6'7", a sophomore out of Riverside, California. That's Jerome Pooh Richardson checking back into the ballgame. Both coaches pressing all the buttons here in the first half as Warren Martin comes back in, and Popson will leave with his 3 personals. You could foul out 4 guys on the Carolina front line and still have some talented people in there. UCLA only 4 out of 8, now make it 4 out of 9 on the free throws, and they've really hurt themselves in the first half.
Very important for them right now to keep themselves in the basketball game going at halftime.
Lebo, what a great job he did of squaring himself up to get the shot off, and he buried it. 8 points for Jeff Lebo, and the freshman gives Carolina an 8-point lead.
Since Carolina has gone into their zone, they've really given some trouble to, what a great shot. Up until that point, they've been giving UCLA some problems scoring.
Corey Gaines, who was the best percentage shooting player on UCLA's team coming in this year, hits the jumper, and Curtis Hunter picks up the foul on top of it. That is number 2 on Curtis Hunter. And Dean Smith is really less than pleased sitting over there with his assistants Bill Guthridge and Eddie Fogler. 6 points for Corey Gaines, the junior from Los Angeles. He and Richardson will split the time at the point. I don't understand, unless they call this an intentional foul and it's the new rule where they're giving him 2 more shots.
I can't imagine that.
I can't either. He did make the basket, didn't he, John Madden? He did. 4-point play. Well, I think what they did, they called it after the shot.
After the shot.
40 to 36. Warren Martin turnaround jumper won't go, and the rebound goes to UCLA, and we've got another foul against Carolina underneath.
Reggie Miller comes all the way from the weak side to give some help to his teammate. Look at this. Contesting Martin's shot and then getting right back on the defensive boards. Now, that's a quick jumper. That's what Carolina doesn't have with their big people.
And he is only 6'7", 177 pounds, and I think that's with a lot of loose change in his pocket.
Yeah, but he plays a lot stronger than he appears frame-wise.
Miller already with 14 points, 2 out of 4 from the line. He'll go to the stripe with a chance to cut the lead to 2. And he missed it again. 2 out of 5 for Reggie Miller, and last year he was an 80% shooter from the line. Jumper is up and in by Kevin Madden, the first 2 points of his varsity career, and it's a 6-point lead again for UCLA. I mean, for North Carolina, excuse me. Got to remember, this is our first game, too. Richardson.
Right now, UCLA should wait for that last shot with here I am back in the NBA. With the 45-second clock, there's only a second difference between the clock and the 45-second clock.
And that's apparently what they're doing. Luckily, North Carolina very little time for a shot. This is Miller, double team. Again, as he gets to the baseline, out to Corey Gaines, being very patient. Miller feeds inside. This is Kelvin Butler. What a great fake. He missed the shot, but he'll get the foul. What a beautiful fake by Kelvin Butler.
Now, so many times when you're in that position in the post-up, you don't have the patience, the offensive man, to throw as many fakes as he did. Now he throws 1 there, 2, and he comes right back with the 3rd fake and strong move to the basket to draw the foul.
Hobson comes into the ballgame for North Carolina. We'll try to keep an eye on the foul situation for you. Warren Martin with 3, Hobson with 3, Joe Wolf with 2, Steve Hale with 2. And even though Carolina is deep, you can't afford that many fouls. If they do it again in the second half, there could be a lot of guys watching instead of playing.
And if you lose some of your key players, I don't care who you are in basketball, it's going to hurt you.
Butler's free throw is good. He has 5 points on the night and is 3 out of 4 from the free throw line. He has been UCLA's only reliable free throw shooter so far tonight. As you can see from his averages last year, he did not play that much. Hits the second free throw, 42-38. UCLA hanging in there with 10 seconds to go in the half. Ranzino Smith banks it home with 4 seconds left. And I don't think UCLA will get another shot. If they do, it's desperation. Oh, hey, that was Miller. He's within range there, isn't he?
Right off the arm.
44-38 at the end of the first half. Billy, your impressions at the end of the first half of play. I thought UCLA really came in here very solid and did not look shaky as we really expected them to.
Not at all. I think, as we said at the top of the show, Miller and Hatcher had to come out and establish the confidence factor and be leaders on the court to start the ball game. You know, talking to Walt Hazzard yesterday in practice, he felt they were going to have to go to all sorts of gimmick traps, full court, three-quarter court, trying to confuse Carolina. What they've done is they've come out and played very basic man-to-man basketball, trying to help out each other inside, but have not made any changes in that regard.
Tonight's game plan is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks, and we're at halftime with a score: North Carolina 44, UCLA 38. Billy, we talked about the game plan at the start of tonight's game, what both teams had to do. Let's go back over that a little bit and see if both teams have done that. First, UCLA. We said they had to keep North Carolina out from the inside. They had to get turnovers, and they had to rely on their veterans. I think they've done all those things.
They've done everything. I think right now a big factor is Walt Hazzard going into that locker room and not allowing the players to feel too good about themselves, that they're in this basketball game, that they have a chance to come out there, and if they can do what they did the first 10 minutes of this first half, they could beat Carolina. Now, Dean Smith, I know it's the first game of the year. He's not going to get too upset with the players in the locker room, but he's going to say, hey, we got our hands full here tonight, and we better get ourselves down to work, handling the basketball, and get our concentration level back up where it should be.
All right, for Carolina, with what we said at the start of the telecast of what they had to do, how much of that do you think they've accomplished?
Well, I think both teams have done what they've set out to do. As I mentioned a little while ago, though, Walt Hazzard thought he was going to have to do some more trapping and try and take Carolina out of some things that they were doing. But he has forced Carolina, for the most part, to shoot the perimeter jump shot, and they've had pretty good success containing Carolina on the offensive boards.
All right, that updates you until halftime, and this has been the game plan, brought to you by Mazda. Halftime, and it's North Carolina 44-38 over UCLA. UCLA led most of the first half and played very, very well, especially when you consider the fact that they are such a young ball club. Here are the stats. Carolina, Billy, with the obvious advantage in field goal percentage. One of the big differences in free throws. UCLA only made 8 out of 14. I think the first half of 3 1-and-1s they also missed.
Yeah, I think the big statistic here that Walt Hazzard would be upset about is the turnovers. He didn't want to come in here and commit 11 turnovers in the first half, and most of those turnovers were created out of the trap on the sideline. So I'm sure during the halftime he went over how they want to attack the trap when it comes down the sideline, or do they want to keep the ball in the middle of the court. Now, Dean Smith has to be pretty pleased the way his team played the last 10 minutes, making the extra pass at the offensive end of the court.
Rebounds are a little amazing. 17 for North Carolina, 16 for UCLA. They only have one player over 6'8". That's Haley, and he only had 1 rebound.
That's right, but the one thing Haley started doing at the latter part of this, the first half, is he became a more physical player inside defensively, not allowing the big people to just establish themselves low in the low post.
Now that's what happened with Haley and Daugherty, and you saw it was a mismatch. As we told you earlier, Haley this is only his 3rd year of varsity experience on any level.
Well, I don't think it's fair showing those statistics. Right here we see the bench score. North Carolina, we talked about their depth, but Haley's role is a lot different than what Daugherty's role is. Daugherty is a leader offensively. He's their veteran, they're All-American. Haley's in there. He's supposed to just bang, play some defense. When he gets a good shot, take it. Otherwise, that's all he's being asked of.
Miller, the leading scorer on the floor with 14 points. This is Hatcher. His jumper won't go. Fight for the rebound. Haley had his hands on it. But here comes Smith for Carolina. Long lead pass for Hale, and what a great athletic move to save it. Wolf inside to Hale. The foul was committed before that. That's on Hatcher. That will be number 2 on Montel Hatcher, the first of the second half.
That was a poor pass by Smith. Even if Hale got the basketball, there wasn't very much he could do with it. It was just a great save, and they're just fortunate that he was able to throw the ball in Daugherty's direction.
Smith and Hale in the backcourt. Daugherty, Hobson, and Wolf up front for Carolina. This is Wolf. They look inside. Smith now to Daugherty. Little soft turnaround jump shot, and he buries it.
You know what's so beautiful about the Carolina big people is when they get the ball in the post area, you never see them drop the basketball down below their waist. They try to get it up above their head as quickly as possible in a position where they could shoot or pass.
Daugherty now has 14, and it is an 8-point lead. Haley trying to work on Daugherty, banks it up a little hard, and it kicks off the rim. Wasn't a bad-looking shot by Haley, though.
At the end of the year, start making those and gain that confidence.
Jumper by Joe Wolf. He has 6, and the lead has increased to 10, the biggest of the ballgame at 48-38. Now's when you find out about your youngsters.
Right, now you got to get the ball in Miller's hands or Hatch's hands, get something for them, use a little bit of the clock, have that patience. Here's Carolina with a trap and the turnover.
Credit the steal to Hale. Kenny Smith has the ball against Hatcher. Missed it. Follow is good. Dave Popson scores, and it's 50-38. And Walt Hazzard says we got to slow this one down and calls the timeout after only a minute 33 of the second half. Timeout on the court. The score, North Carolina streaking to 50, UCLA 38.
Here's the turnover again. Going down low, Carolina doubling, and now they're rotating their people. Hale just rotating so beautifully, cutting off that passing lane. And Smith going to the hoop, and there's why you never can take anything for granted in basketball. Popson following it in.
You have to play against Hale. He is just a frightening defensive player. 12-point lead. Gaines trying to push it up court. It's kicked by Joe Wolf. And UCLA will get the ball out of bounds, and they'll recycle the shot clock to 45. Corey Gaines will be the trigger man. They get it to Miller. Carolina has scored 6 straight points in that pressure defense going everywhere. Almost another steal by Hale. Gaines jumper. Nope. Haley with only his 2nd rebound of the ball game. Gets it back outside, and the jumper by Hatcher will go through.
Big basket for them, because we're at a verge where they could have been blown out.
Hatcher with a dozen. It's been he and Miller on offense. Turnaround jump shot, foul inside, and the foul will be on Kelvin Butler. That's his 2nd.
We'll see Wolf just flashing into the post, establishing the good position. Hale making that good pass inside. One thing that defensive man playing Hale should have done is had his hands up defensively, not down at his side.
Carolina triggers it in. This is Daugherty looking for Smith on the backdoor cut. Can't find him. Smith, free on the baseline, passes up the shot instead. Goes inside. This one won't go. Kept alive in there by Popson. Battling on the boards, but here comes UCLA. Hatcher won't go again. Haley with a rebound, and Haley will be called for pushing off. That's number 3 on the only big man UCLA has, Jack Haley. He has to replace Brad Wright in the middle, who came on so strong last year.
Haley was going to the offensive board strong, and the ball bounced long, and it was just a natural reaction to push off and go for the basketball. That's his 3rd foul.
Walt Hazzard will leave him in the ball game. Hale to Daugherty. This is Ransino Smith, always looking inside as Carolina with that giant front line. Daugherty turned around, jumped over Hale, and he got it. Daugherty, 14 points, and he's hit 7 out of 7 from the floor. That's Corey Gaines with a pretty move to the hoop.
That was a great move. They came down and looked to attack. Carolina just had their backs turned to the and had no weak side help with the man penetrating to the hoop.
52-42, Carolina by 10. They spurted at the start of the second half here. Wolf, his jumper won't go. Popson keeps it alive, out to Gaines. UCLA trying to run it to 2-on-3 fast break. Corey Gaines takes it all the way in and made it. Well, maybe unadvised, but it went in.
It's one of those shots the coach is saying, hold it up, great shot.
12 points for Corey Gaines. Daugherty right in the lane and backs over Haley and scores. 18 for Daugherty.
Haley is just going to have to beat Daugherty across the lane and not allow him to establish that position inside.
Carolina holds to that 10-point lead. We're down to 16 minutes and 17 seconds. Miller gets off a shot and swish. Oh, what a shoot.
I don't know how you defend that. You know, that's the type of shot if you're a coach and someone makes it, you applaud your defensive player.
Hale almost got caught in the air, got it to Daugherty. Tough shot, it goes, and Haley will pick up his 4th personal foul.
This is a tough shot Daugherty makes here, but he's just got it going right now. Just goes straight up, gets banged, and was able to maintain his concentration on that basket.
Got to take Haley out and put Craig Jackson into the ball game.
One of the things they have to decide, the way Daugherty is getting the ball inside and being effective, they've been playing behind him. They might have to change their defensive strategy a little bit and try to front him and beat him to the spot. And hopefully they'll get the weak side help if Carolina tries to throw the ball over the top.
At this point, Daugherty is at least tied for the lead in the NCAA in field goal statistics. He's 10 out of 10. And 1 out of 1 from the free throw line. 21 points for Brad Daugherty. And it's 57-46, the largest lead of the ball game. This is Jerome Pooh Richardson into the game, along with Lebo, the 2 talented freshmen on each other. Miller now double teamed in the trap, gets it inside. Jackson, great pass to Butler.
Great ball movement, great court awareness.
Craig Jackson with a blind pass cuts the lead to 9. Daugherty, 11 out of 11 and 23 points.
UCLA can't allow Carolina to push the ball down the court that quickly. They're going to have to put a little bit more pressure, force them to slow the tempo down when they're attacking UCLA's defensive end. Richardson and Corey Gaines, really 2 ball handling guards in the backcourt for Walt Hazard. Richardson wants his shot and buried it from the baseline over Lebo. 59-50. Had good patience, went up there, beautiful form on the shot. Kenny Smith working it down for Carolina to Daugherty. Alley-oop to Warren Martin, who's into the ballgame, had it blocked and a foul. There's going to be a back screen. We can't see it in our picture right there that frees up Martin and allows him to get that lob pass inside and go up and get fouled. Number 3 on Butler, the 15th foul against UCLA. And remember, they are not deep. When a couple of their players get in foul trouble, it's a lot of trouble. Martin, good free throw shooter, knocks this one down. He has 5 points. The senior from Axton, Virginia. And 5 rebounds. Fans love him here. Well, you have to like a player like Martin. Works so hard, doesn't he? Because you can see he doesn't have the natural talents athletically as a lot of the players out there, but by sheer work and determination, he's been able to make himself into an outstanding basketball player. 61-50, another double team, and the 3rd foul on Steve Hale of this ball game.
Fouls on Steve Hale. His 3rd.
Well officiated ball game tonight.
Well, when you don't have to mention the officials, you know they're doing a good job.
Lenny Wirtz, Tom Frame, and Dick Paparo right on top of it. It's a lot different, too, when you're sitting up here announcing the game. If you're on the bench as a coach, I can't remember a game when I was pleased with officiating. You haven't stood up once, have you? Not yet. It hasn't cost me any money either with technical fouls. Richardson hit his last shot, making 2 in a row for Pooh Richardson, 4 points. And it's 61-52. UCLA trying to hang inside that 10-point lead. Hale, Martin.
Again, Carolina was able to push it down the court, hit the wing, and drop it right inside.
Miller called for the offensive foul. That is number 2 on Reggie Miller, and that will get Walt Hazard up from the UCLA bench.
Oh, that was a case where Reggie was just out of control. When you leave your feet and you're trying to make a pass, you're in trouble.
UCLA now showing pressure. Billy, we expected this earlier, again in the style of John Wooden, that full court pressure.
Right now they have to come out and they have to get back into a situation where they're creating turnovers. They have to take Carolina out of the tempo that Carolina has right now, because they're just playing with such confidence, shooting the basketball and getting it where they want it.
And the Tar Heels handle it well. Steve Hale with a fake, almost traveled the lane, puts it to the left-handed runner and got it. Steve Hale with 6, and the lead is extended to 13. He's just such a talented player. And the crowd giving the team a big ovation. Lebo on Richardson. This is Gaines. Drives by Smith, cut off at the baseline. Richardson forced that one and got it. Boy, he's going to be a good one.
He's going to be a great player.
6 points for Richardson, 65-54. UCLA trying to stay close. Wolf passes it over the middle. The ball kicked away. UCLA almost had the steal, couldn't quite hold it.
Still a great defensive play by Jackson. When the ball was swung to the top, he was able to front Daugherty and not allow them to make that direct pass inside.
Jackson, a 6'8" sophomore from Denver, and all summer he's been bothered by an iron deficiency and lost quite a bit of weight.
4.0 student in college.
I can't even relate to that. I couldn't 4 years if you added them all together.
I'm not saying a word.
I noticed. Wolf, and a 3-second violation called against Carolina. Haven't been many turnovers in the second half either.
No, Carolina is, as we mentioned, the first 10 minutes they were careless with the basketball. They didn't have that concentration and good ball movement. Now they're into a nice groove at the offensive end of the court.
UCLA has thrown it away 13 times overall. North Carolina 10. UCLA could cut the lead under 10 with a bucket here. Try to get it inside. Who else? Steve Hale knocks it away to Lebo. This is Kenny Smith. 2-on-2 break. Smith, 17-footer. And the rebound to Wolf. Back out to Hale, left alone.
He deserved that hoop after the play he made at the other end of the court defensively.
Hale doesn't shoot much. Smith doesn't shoot much, but they can both kill you if you leave them alone. Here's a whistle and a foul. This one will go against Lebo for shoving off. It's number 2 on Lebo. Curtis Hunter will come in for the first time in the second half for North Carolina. Kenny Smith will get a breather. Walt Hazard can only watch Dean Smith go to the bench repeatedly and only wonder what it would be like to have that kind of depth.
Yeah. I have a feeling the reason Smith is sitting on the bench was that ill-advised shot that he just took at the other end of the court.
Could be. Richardson, oh, what a beautiful drive. Jerome Richardson did not start tonight, but you're not going to be able to keep him out of the lineup long. He has 8 points, and it's 67-56. Carolina right now really seems to have its rhythm. Alley-oop to Daugherty, almost lost it, then throw it away. The interception went to Jackson. Corey Gaines moving into the lane against Lebo. That's going to be goaltending on Curtis Hunter.
Interference call. Basket is good.
67-58.
Corey Gaines.
Here's the drive to the basket. Well, you know, that's Hunter's play there, going for the block shot after it's on the basket. Just not a smart play.
67-58, UCLA within 9. Lebo had it knocked out of his hands, but it will be out to North Carolina.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to
There is a timeout on the court. 11:59 to go in our first game of the year. And it's North Carolina leading UCLA 67-58. We'll be back after this. There is something about the majesty of UCLA in college basketball. They won 10 national championships. That is 10 in 12 years. They had winning streaks of 81 games, 88 games rather, 47 games and 41, and that is in the stretch of 1968 to 74 that they had those streaks. That nobody will ever be able to do that again. Will they?
No. And the other nice thing is these are two universities I think have their priorities in the right order. Great jump hook shot, because we hear so many negative things recently about the college game, and here's two institutions that really stress to these young men that they are student athletes, and that's their #1 priority.
And a lot of people may not believe that, but we've been close to these programs. You have to know after being around them that that's the way it is. Here's the steal, Curtis Hunter going in against Richardson, lays it up and in.
That's just a great individual effort by Hunter.
Curtis Hunter is finally healthy. The man who has so much raw physical ability and who has been injured so long throughout his career. That is only the second shot this half for Miller, and he missed. Richardson with a long rebound. UCLA needs some good shots, and they need to make them. There's the jumper by Gaines. 71-60, back within 11. Gaines has 16. Big game for him. Wolf looks inside. These are two quality teams out of two quality institutions. And you're right, Billy, you don't get to hear the positive often enough.
That's right. You just have a few bad situations that occur. The majority are just outstanding. You know, the UCLA team, they have one of their assistant coaches, and Chris Jason, he's in charge of their academic program as well. And he has these kids, even here in Chapel Hill, you know, they have their study halls, and they're working on their academics as well as Carolina doing the same thing when they're on the road.
Foul on Kelvin Butler is his 4th. Hale comes back into the ballgame. Lebo comes out, and now Warren Martin will check back in. Martin working with 3 personal fouls. Carolina's done a good job of not getting in any more foul trouble here in the second half after they picked up a lot in the first 20 minutes. Wolf goes to the free throw line. 8 points tonight for Joe, and has not been to the free throw line. He's a 6'10 junior, Kohler, Wisconsin. He had a great preseason, although he had a sore back for a while. This free throw will not go, and it was tipped on the rim, I believe, and will count. Tipped on the rim by Kelvin Butler.
You'll take it any way you can if you're on the foul line.
This is Rochelen into the ballgame for the first time, number 45, another highly recruited freshman. He's out of Toronto, Canada, the best freshman to come, maybe the best player ever to come out of Canada.
Andre McCarter, one of the assistant coaches for UCLA, found Rochelen up there in Toronto, and they think he has a great future at UCLA, and he's an outstanding athlete. Big problem he's had is the competition level that he's played against up in Canada.
Sure.
And he's got to grow a little bit.
Miller from downtown, he's missed 2 straight in the second half, make it 3 straight, and Kenny Smith rips away the rebound. A 12-point Carolina lead. This could be the biggest one of the ball game. We're at the 10-minute mark. Martin inside, back to Hale. Daugherty off his hands, Kenny Smith retrieves, however. Carolina really in tempo right now. Warren Martin won't go, kept alive, and Daugherty with a follow shot. Brad Daugherty has 25 points, and he is 12 out of 12 from the floor.
Watching him when he was a freshman, he just looked like a young kid, which he was coming into Carolina at 16 years old. But now, physically, he looks like a man out there.
North Carolina 3-on-1 break. Daugherty makes the basket, and he is fouled by Corey Gaines, and the route may be on. North Carolina finally starting to take it to UCLA the way a lot of people expected.
Now here's the move to the basket. Just gets it caught on the bottom of the rim. An outstanding outlet pass there by Martin. Ball over his head, and Kenny Smith doing what he's supposed to do here in Carolina. Get it to the big man filling the lanes on the break.
Corey Gaines did not commit a smart foul on that play. Just sort of reached in and slapped at Daugherty. There was no way he was going to stop him.
Kenny Smith, up to this point, has 12 assists in this ball game.
Brad Daugherty has not missed a thing. And now this has got to be the intentional foul rule. This is the new rule. If you are intentionally fouled, you get the basket and 2 free throw shots, And boy, is Walt Hazard upset.
I kind of agree with Walt here. With that play, what that rule is supposed to do is to protect the players.
Exactly.
In breakaway situations.
And this was not, he wasn't trying to hurt him, he just reached out and touched him.
No, you know, usually coming from the rear, either pushing or grabbing the player. And now, well.
And Walt Hazard just got a tee from Lenny Wirtz. Unfortunately for Walt Hazard and UCLA, I think Hazard's right. I agree with you.
I know he's right.
And Walt Hazard is saying, hey, you got to explain this rule to me because this is not the way I understood it, nor the way we understood it.
I know in the NBA they put a rule in similar to this to try and protect players, not allowing someone to push a player or possibly injure a player in a breakaway situation. This was not a breakaway situation. The man was back there defensively. And what happens is the officials, it's the first game of the year, they're not that sure about the rule.
So Daugherty hits the other free throw, and now Hale will shoot the technical, and all at once the lead is up to 18. This could turn into a 5-point play, and does. And he'll get another shot. It could be a 6-point play. 79-60, make it 80-60 as Hale scores again.
Let's take a look at this play. Here's Kenny Smith making the pass. There's the man. He even has position, or he did it one time between Daugherty and the basket. Now, the only way you can commit the intentional foul, the way it was explained to me, is either grabbing or pushing a player, okay, that's going to the basket. Now, we could see right there that all he did was reach out and try to slap, maybe get the ball from Daugherty when he was about to go to the basket.
Although I do remember somebody saying, Billy, if you were fouled intentionally in the act of shooting, maybe that is the rule interpretation. If you're fouled intentionally in the act of shooting, that's it, whether it was flagrant or otherwise.
Well, if that's the case, it's a bad rule.
I agree. Kenny Smith with a jumper. It's 82-60, and North Carolina trying to blow it open with 9:18 left. That seems really too much of a penalty for a foul like that. Miller with a spinning move. Oh, Reggie Miller, what a great shot that was.
And they needed that hoop. And you know what was smart about the play is here's a guy, he hasn't been hitting it from the perimeter in the second half, realized it and went in and took the ball to the basket.
Hale looks inside, Wolf that jump hook and got it down. Reggie Miller.
Excuse me, Mike, but Carolina's just wearing them down now. You can see the effect of their size and their strength inside.
This is Miller trying to keep them in it single-handedly. He has 20. What a family he comes from. His sister Cheryl at USC is the best women's player in the country.
Well, you know, in the past, he's always been referred to, he's Cheryl Miller's brother. I think that's going to be changed very shortly.
I think you're right. Warren Martin powering his way inside, forced the shot. The rebound goes to Gerald Jones, the sophomore from Vallejo, California. He's number 22. 84-64. UCLA with a long road back here. Loose ball. I'm not sure what that was.
That looked like one of my passes.
This is Hale with the basketball to Martin. Wolf. Alley-oop to Warren Martin. Put it in while he was in the air and fouled from underneath.
Well, so far in the second half, Carolina is 17 to 23 from the field. It's not bad.
And you can't beat it either. Unless you're Villanova in last year's championship game.
Here we see, okay, now look at the back screen there by Hale. Okay, and there's the great lob pass. But the reason that play is successful, and the credit should go to a guy like Steve Howell, who sacrificed himself to help his teammate.
Montel Hatcher committed the personal foul. It's his third. The lead is 22 points at 86-64. North Carolina has broken up a very tight ball game. Warren Martin with 8 points. Make it 10 points now, we show, and 5 rebounds. It's the free throw. Warren Martin with 11, and UCLA's Walt Hazard doing everything he can over on the bench and sees his team down by 23 points with 7 minutes and 59 seconds to go from Chapel Hill. We'll be back with the last 7:59 after this word from Bud Light. (87-64), North Carolina over visiting UCLA by 23 with 7:59 left in the ballgame.
no matter what the situation is here with for UCLA and Walt Hazzard, he cannot be dissatisfied with his team. Of course he wants to win the basketball game, but he also knows that he has a very young team, and within a couple months, if they played Carolina, it might be a different story.
Corey Gaines hit that jump shot. Well, last year, Billy, they started off so poorly, ended up winning the NIT, 8 straight wins at the end of the year. The longest winning streak in the nation coming into this year. All
this team needs is a player like Haley or Jackson to come through for them inside, because their guard core is outstanding, and we've talked so much about what Reggie Miller can do.
Kenny Smith with the acrobatic move inside, and he draws the personal foul. And it's going to be on Gerald Jones, who is a tough, aggressive player, but at a disadvantage at only 6'5". And North Carolina, we were talking about dynasties early. They have really done the job. Dean Smith, just an incredible record since he has been here. You can't say too much about what that gentleman's done.
Yeah, and I might add that I did not participate in any of those.
I don't think it was your fault, Howard.
Oh, yeah. Well, I broke Dean in right in coaching. Yeah, bad seasons. But you can see Coach Smith right now is very relaxed, sitting on the bench right now, pleased the way his team is responded in playing here tonight.
He's done so many things that other coaches have picked up on. This is Jones, and down on the floor we'll have a jump ball situation, and who gets the possession? The arrow is pointing toward North Carolina. They'll get the ball.
Now, I asked Coach Smith this afternoon, I said, how long do you think you're going to coach? And he said, you know, until I find something that I enjoy as much or more than this, he said, because I truly look forward to getting up in the morning, dealing with these young men, and he just seems so alive and just so excited about the upcoming season. And I could barely stand 8 years of coaches.
Pooh Richardson checks in for UCLA. He's number 24. And the Bruins will try to put on full court pressure. They have to gamble now with 7:05 left in the game, down by 22.
Well, UCLA now is going to have to come out at some point and gamble a little bit at the defensive end of the court. Right now they're playing straight up man-to-man, but I think that if they do score, we're going to see them go into a lot more traffic situations, trying to get themselves back into this ball game some way.
Haley back in the ball game, working on Daugherty, and a travel on Brad Daugherty. That's about the only thing he's done wrong tonight.
That was excellent defense there by Haley. One thing that happened, though, there wasn't any help coming down from the guard at the top of the key at that situation.
Long jumper won't go. Lebo with a rebound, crashing the boards. Hale. Daugherty is within a point of his career high. He has 29 tonight, 17 in the second half. Great pass by Lebo to Wolf.
When a team gets it going, you can just, the ball movement, they're just so fluid right now in Carolina at both ends of the court. You know, the impressive thing, I'm sure that Coach Smith would be happy with, is that this team has come out in this game and showed a killer's instinct. You know, they weren't satisfied being up 10 points or 12 points. They wanted just to beat UCLA as bad as possible. Now, there's great team defense at the other end of the court. Man came back in and slapped the ball off Reggie Miller's knee.
6 minutes even and counting from Carmichael Auditorium. And North Carolina now in complete control, leading 90-66. The shot clock stays on until the end. Here's a foul as Kenny Smith drives the baseline, grabbed by, I believe, Corey Gaines. And that will be number 3 on Corey Gaines in this game.
That's his second.
Walt Hazzard, you look at that UCLA bench and the names with Andre McCarter down there, Jack Hirsch, who was a co-captain on the same team with Hazzard that won the first championship for John Wooden. They have a volunteer coach. Remember Sidney Wicks?
Oh, do I? Great player. He was Rookie of the Year in the NBA when he was with the Portland Trailblazers. So there's a lot of winners down there sitting on that UCLA bench.
And that helps. Smith with 8 points. And it's a 26-point lead for North Carolina.
One lineup that Dean Smith has been able to use and has been so successful for him is using 3 guards. And I just wonder if they'll be able to use this type of a lineup once they get into the conference play.
They used it at times last year. Turnaround jump shot by Haley. That's the 6'10 junior, his first 2 points. He does not look, he's not overpowering by any means, but he doesn't look nervous or out of sorts out there with only his 3rd year of basketball. The young man may develop. Backdoor cut, Hale.
You know, being an ex-coach, you just love to see a play like that where players communicate, someone overplays you, and you just go backdoor and you make the simple pass for the layup. That's as rewarding from a coaching standpoint as any play there is in basketball at the offensive end.
Brad Daugherty has just hit his career high, 31 points, and it's 96-68. People are going to pick up the paper tomorrow morning and think this was a blowout, but it wasn't, not for a long time. Hatcher won't go. Miller with a rebound at 177 pounds. Into Haley, turnaround jumper, in and out.
He's had some tough luck on some shots inside.
And I think Walt Hazard is using this time right now to get the ball to Haley and get him some experience on the offensive end. And there is Joe Wolf. Big night for Joe Wolf, too. 15 points. 98-68. The lead is 30, and Carolina continues to pour it on. And the fans will want 100 in a moment with 4:11 left in the game. UCLA will go home, Billy, for 9 straight games after this?
9 straight games. And you play a game like this, and people will say, well, you're down 30 points, and you have to feel very bad as a coach. But I mentioned, you know, Walt Hazzard can see some very positive things. Now, there's an example we were talking about Richardson being such an outstanding passer, and his teammates trying to learn how he can play and when he's going to give him the ball in there, and he just caught Miller off guard.
Exactly. 3:53 left. It's North Carolina by 30. We'll be back after this short break. And that happens to be Michael Jordan's foot. And it's not Air Jordan's. It's a nice-looking suit, and he's on the bench tonight. And, Billy, you said earlier, that can't hurt recruiting, can it?
No, it can't hurt recruiting, but it's hurting Michael sitting there on the bench because I know what a competitor he is, and he'd love to be back there playing with the Chicago Bulls. But Michael Jordan, in my opinion, was the best player I think that's ever played at Carolina.
That's saying
a lot of good players, too. You know, you can talk about Sam Worthy, you can talk about Perkins, McAdoo, Bobby Jones, just go down to Walter Davis, and Still Ford, etc. But he's exceptional.
He's been exceptional in the pros, too.
Tell me about it. I had to play against him 6 times last year.
Well, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. He hurt everybody. Hunter in the lane, threw it away. Tried to hit Steve Bucknall. Three and a half minutes left. Excuse me, Tom.
Well, excuse me, Mike. Right now, what Carolina is doing is they've gotten a lot of their young players in there, and they're giving them this valuable experience time on the basketball court.
Haley went to the bucket. Shot wouldn't go for him again. This is Bucknall to Warren Martin. Wheels into the lane. And they love it here in Chapel Hill when Warren Martin scores. 13 points for the big senior from Axton, Virginia.
All Haley has to do is just gain a little confidence because every time he goes up for a shot, he just rushes it a little bit, and it just throws the shot off.
100-68. The issue, obviously, no longer in doubt. This is Rod Palmer, another freshman. And the steal, Curtis Hunter got his hands on it, couldn't hold it. Palmer's a 6'3" freshman from Compton, California, a year ago, regarded as the top guard prospect on the West Coast. Lebo will come out of the ballgame to get a breather. Ranzino Smith will come in, and Lebo gets a nice hand. And what a great first game. Richardson working man-to-man on Ranzino Smith. Ball tipped away. Haley went after it. And it's out of bounds to UCLA.
Richardson was just a little too fancy. There he is, Dean Smith. What a record.
2 minutes, 28 seconds left. This will be Dean Smith's 552nd career victory in 24 years plus 1 game. Tough to match that. UCLA will have the basketball. Richardson running the ball club in the final 2.5 minutes. And a push off underneath. Got a foul against UCLA, and they'll turn it over.
Well, Brad Daugherty had a pretty good night for himself. He was 13 for 13 from the field.
Foul is on Jersey
That's something. 5 for 5 from the foul line, 31 points.
He did travel once, though. In all honesty, we have to point out his mistakes. There's Walt Hazard. Been a long night in the second half. His club played really well in the first half.
You know, the one thing that we mentioned earlier that UCLA needs is some big people inside. They have some fine perimeter players forward in the guard position, but Walt Hazard's been working his tail off for the last several months and has been able to sign 4 players for the upcoming year, and a few of them are over 6'10".
Got some big kids coming, and he's got great perimeter shooting, as you said, from Miller and Hatcher. Tonight's game has been brought to you in part by Mazda Cars and Trucks, Redman, and by McDonald's. Warren Martin with a follow shot, spun out on it. Here come the Bruins. Nice dish-off shot, foul. And it's Warren Martin who really hustled back and got hit in the face.
Now, it'll be interesting to see how they call that play, the official.
Well, that's got to be the, well, maybe it doesn't have to be either. He went for the block.
Yeah, I know. You know, in my opinion, this is just a great effort basketball-wise. But after the last call at the other end of the court, which really opened up this basketball game very quickly when Walt Hazard picked up some technical fouls and they called it a deliberate foul. Was it a 6-point play?
6 or a 7-point turnaround at that point. And I believe they were already up by 13, so that really did it. Charles Rochelle out of Toronto, Canada, missed them both. 101-68, 2:09 left in the game. Carolina just going to mop up now. Loose ball picked up by Warren Martin. He's trying to get inside. Nobody to pass to, so he took the shot, fights for the rebound inside as Ramzino Smith, and he got a jump ball out of it.
When in doubt, shoot. I know when Coach Smith became the head coach here at North Carolina, I happened to be here, and he was following a legend in his own time too, Frank McGuire. So, you know, Dean Smith had to develop his own program, own personality for his program, and we can see what he was able to do with some time and some effort.
Michael Norwood, number 21, into the ball game for the first time for North Carolina, junior from Henderson. Haley throws a brick off the front of the rim that time. And here comes James Day, the senior from Burlington, who checks in for the first time. Get a traveling violation, they'll turn it over. In case you joined us late, UCLA really hung tough in the first half. As a matter of fact, had the lead for most of the first half. Rod Palmer, the freshman, to Pooh Richardson, another freshman. His jumper won't go, but we've got a foul underneath. Or a foul outside. They'll get it on Ramzino Smith.
I know Dean Smith doesn't like to see a player, no matter what the score is in this ball game, go out and foul a jump shooter that way, shooting a jump shot from the top of the circle.
Exactly. Those are the kind of things that will cost you down the road in a tight game. This one isn't at 101-68. But you need to have to try to maintain the same discipline in a blowout that you do in a tight game. And that's where coaching comes in. These people are so well drilled. Loose ball. Knocked away that time by Michael Norwood. One of those walk-ons that are so important to a program. UCLA with the ball, 1:25 left.
I'm going to ask you a question, Mike. You've seen more of the ACC last year than I did, and of course I looked at it a little differently last year. I was just looking at if I thought a player had the ability to make the NBA, or if a coach was doing something that I felt that we could put into our system, coaching the 76ers. What do you like in the ACC this year? Barring injuries.
I think it depends a lot on freshmen. I think if Georgia Tech's freshman crop comes through, I've got to agree with most people that say they're number one. But when you've got Georgia Tech, North Carolina, and Duke all in the top 5 in all the polls, it's probably going to come down to the Final Four. I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 or 3 of them in it with one game. Who knows?
Well, what it amounts to is it should be a great year, I guess, then in the ACC.
Unbelievable. Well, we just finished up football season on the ACC television network yesterday with Duke against North Carolina. What a great way to start for this one. I didn't mean to dodge your question. I'm just not sure.
You're running for a public office soon, aren't you?
No, never do that. But I don't like those letters either. This is Jeff Dunlap, walk-on for UCLA, the only senior on the club, 6'5", from North Hollywood, California. He'll get a minute and 5 seconds of playing time, and it's mop-up time for both ball clubs. Day goes to the free throw line, 101 to 70. 102 to 70. James Day, who averaged 9/10 of a point a year ago, got a scholarship last year from Dean Smith. Loyalty is rewarded.
There's no question about that, and I think, you know, even when I played under Dean Smith, he was as concerned about the first player on the team as he was with the 12th and 14th player on the ball club, making sure that they got their education, making sure that there was some discipline there in their life, and you truly felt part of the team as part of the ball club.
Well, that's the reason he keeps getting great players. People want to play for him. And I think a lot of people are going to want to play for Walt Hazzard, too, at UCLA.
No question about that.
Counting down the final 40 seconds, Curtis Hunter trying to make a roll, or rather inside the jam. Madden on the pass from Bucknall. 4 points for the freshman. Jump shot by Dunlap, won't go. Follow shot will not count. We got a foul inside with 24 seconds left. 105-70. Foul is on Bucknall, his first. Quite an impressive start for North Carolina.
Yeah, it is. And the one thing Coach Smith will stress with his team is that, hey, we won a game, but it doesn't mean a darn thing. You know, we have a long road to go, and he cannot allow them to grow complacent after one victory.
I'd like to thank our executive producer, Mike Berg, from ACC Basketball, and show you the names of all the people who have been so important throughout the past years and will be again this year on our ACC telecast. Zeno Smith with a running one-hander across his body, 107-70. And with 6 seconds left, UCLA will turn it over. Our director tonight, Quay Sistar, and all the other people who have played such a big role in making ACC basketball telecasts the fine presentations that we believe they are. We thank them very much for their efforts. Final score is North Carolina 107, UCLA 70. For Billy Cunningham and our entire ACC crew, this has been a presentation of Raycom Sports.